Hey friends, welcome back. You know the drill by now. I'm gonna read some glitch in the Matrix stories. Have you seen the video about the staircases in the woods? Well, the first story is about just that. But before we start, if you're new, I want to thank you for listening, and know that if you like glitch stories and other unusual tales, you found the right channel, because that's what we do. Hit that subscribe button if you want. First glitch. Hey, something super weird happened to me and my best bud, Eric, while hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I've got to know if anyone knows what this was. Eric and I decided to do some of that good old soul searching and wander the Appalachian Trail for a bit. We're 3 days in. Everything's going well, you know. Feet are sore, but spirits are high. We've seen some beautiful vistas, snapped selfies that would make even Instagram models jealous, and named like 4 different rocks because why not? And we found a stray cat that followed us around for a day and a half. Not sure how he ended up on the trail, but he seemed amicable enough. Eric wanted to name him Shadow because he was this smoky gray color. I argued for Paws of Mystery, but Eric said it sounded like a bad superhero name. Anyway, Shadow, or Paws of Mystery, vanished somewhere during the night of day 3. We figured he got bored of us and moved on. Cut to the 4th day, around noon. The sky is clear, birds are singing, and life is good. We're bantering about whether ketchup belongs on a hot dog. It does, fight me. When suddenly we hear this loud pop behind us. Not like a balloon pop, but more like the sound of a cork coming off a champagne bottle, but louder and deeper. We whip around, and there it is. A staircase. No joke. It's this rustic staircase, like steps cut right out of a massive rock, just sitting there on the trail where we'd come from, leading upwards into, well, just more trees and sky. Eric and I look at each other, and without saying a word, we're both like, nope, not today, Satan. We haul ass further down the trail. We must have covered 2 miles in the span of 15 minutes, fueled by adrenaline and an unspoken agreement that whatever that was, we wanted no part of it. I mean, who's ever heard of a staircase popping into existence in the middle of the woods? We set up camp much further down, tried to make jokes about it, even brought up some old ghost stories to lighten the mood. But it was kinda hard to shake the unease. That night, we heard some rustling around our camp. Eric swore he saw something moving at the edge of our flashlight's beam. No lie. For a second I hoped it was Shadow Paws of Mystery returning to comfort us in our hour of weirdness. But nothing came of it. It's been 2 days since we finished our hike, and neither of us can get that staircase out of our minds. Eric half joked that maybe it's a secret entrance to Narnia or something. I don't know about that, but I do know I have never sprinted faster in my life, and Eric agrees. So, fellow users, has anyone else experienced something like this? Staircases in the middle of nowhere? Unexplained popping sounds in the great outdoors? A mysterious cat that probably, or probably not, is a magical guardian? We're desperate for answers, so hit us up in the comments. Stay weird, y'all. Next glitch. In my lifetime, and especially in the last year, many unexplainable things have happened to me, but none so crazy as what occurred last night. I've been reading this sub for a while, but I'm so freaked out right now that this is the first time I've felt inclined to sign up to an account and post on here. I'm hoping some of you might help me to find an explanation. So I have a toddler. She's nearly 2 and an incredibly bad sleeper. So bad, in fact, that my husband and I have had her in our bed recently, as it's the best way for us all to get as much shut-eye as humanly possible. Last night was a particularly bad night, and I was up with her until just before 2 a.m., when she finally drifted off and I fell asleep myself. What happened next I had no idea about, until my husband told me about it in the morning. He awoke to my daughter tapping him on the shoulder and saying in a worried voice, "Daddy, Mommy gone." He looked over to my side of the bed and felt the covers, ascertained that I was indeed not in the bed, and tried to comfort her. He presumed I was either in the toilet or had gone to sleep in the spare room, where I wouldn't get kicked in the ribs. He checked his phone. It was a little after 3 a.m. After 10 minutes of me not returning, and my daughter becoming increasingly distressed, he picked her up to show her that I was absolutely fine, just sleeping in the next room. But when he arrived in the room, I wasn't in there. He switched on the light to make sure of it. He then wandered around the entire house, carrying my daughter, and they couldn't find me anywhere. The front door was locked, the key in its usual hook. The handle is such that you can't get out or in without using the key. So he knew I couldn't have left the house. Perplexed, he went back into the bedroom, turned on the light to double check I wasn't in bed. He removed the covers from the bed just to be doubly sure, and found that my phone was beside the bed and plugged in. He knew that I never go anywhere without my phone, so at this point he got really worried and didn't know what to do. But my daughter was drifting off to sleep in his arms, so he turned off the light again while he thought. He was about to call the police when he heard a sigh and movement next to him, and suddenly I was there, rolling over in my sleep, as if I'd always been there. He told me this story this morning when I woke up, and nothing has ever made me question reality in this way before. As far as I was concerned, I was asleep all night, from 2 a.m. when I last checked my phone until 7:30 when my alarm went off. I don't have any history of sleepwalking or even dreaming much during the night. However, the freaky occurrences have definitely been ramping up recently, and I wonder if this could be connected. The weirdest part of it all is that despite my abject terror this morning, my brain already seems to be passing this off as something I shouldn't worry about, and my husband already seems to have made complete peace with it. Looking forward to your thoughts. Next glitch. This morning, as I'm doing my usual Stairmaster routine, hustling down the stairs with my tote bag in one hand and coffee mug in the other, I'm mentally prepping for another day of spreadsheets and Zoom meetings. Everything about the morning seems as standard as ever. Just as I'm nearing the bottom step, an unusual sight makes me pause. The parking lot, which usually boasts a mishmash of cars, is filled with black Ford Explorers, identical in every way, same model and tinted windows, even the same roof racks. It looks like some bizarre Ford Explorer convention. Knowing my neighbors, the hybrid driving, reuse and recycle types, there's no way they've all traded their Priuses and Teslas for these gas guzzlers overnight. As I stand there trying to piece together any logical explanation, the familiar jingle of Chip's collar breaks through my confusion. Chip, Mr. Brown's brown lab, ambles over, tail wagging, looking for his usual greeting. I bend down, indulging in some pets and baby talk. Yeah, I'm one of those people. But when I straighten up, it's as if the world has changed. Every single Ford Explorer is gone, vanished. The parking lot returns to its regular residents. Karen's Prius, Raj's electric scooter, the usual lineup. Chip's concerned whine pulls me back. He's standing a few steps away, hackles raised, ears perked, sensing the weight of the moment. With a hesitant woof, he nudges my leg, urging me to move. I shake off the paralyzing feeling, drawing in a shaky breath. "Did you see that too, Chip?" I whisper, almost expecting an answer. I head to my car with a lingering sense of wonder. Every day might seem routine, but today was a reminder that there's magic, mystery, and a touch of the unknown lurking in the most unexpected corners. Sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to check in on you, see if you're still there. And I see you are, you're awesome. The episode is not over yet, not at all. If you've liked it so far, hit that like button. We're a new channel, so it helps a lot. If there is anything you want to share with me or other viewers, the comments section is all yours. Next glitch. I've got to share something, and I need your help. My friend Jake and I decided to check out this underground rave that's become the stuff of legends lately. Rumor has it that the last few parties held there had some bizarre incidents. People seeing things, tech malfunctions, you know the drill. We thought they were just rumors. Until that night. The rave was held in this decaying warehouse with stacks of rusting metal structures, walls heavily marked with graffiti, and the mix of sweat, old paint, and something metallic in the air. Once inside, we were greeted by the usual neon lights and a great pulsating beat that seemed to make the whole building shake. Several hours into the night, the strobe lights and suffocating crush of people were overwhelming. Jake, looking a bit pale, motioned for us to go outside. We found a spot by the wall and leaned against the cold brick. As we stood there, a group passed by. "This place is cursed," one said, while another laughed it off. "Come at me, universe." But then, without warning, a chunk of the wall in front of us simply disappeared. For those few seconds, we could see straight into the rave, the dancers, the neon trails of glow sticks, even a DJ adjusting a set. We could see clearly inside the warehouse, but the sound was muffled, as if we were underwater. My ears popped like they do on a plane, and I felt a strange pressure in my head. And just as suddenly as it had vanished, the wall was back. Jake, wide-eyed, turned to me. That wasn't just me, right?" All I could muster was a nod. I noticed the group nearby also staring at the spot, some in disbelief, others in fear. We weren't the only ones. We left soon after, with more questions than we had energy to voice. If you were there, or if you've ever witnessed something like this, please share. Next glitch. I live a mile down the road from my parents' house with my husband and son. One evening, about 6 years ago, we were at their house watching some TV show. My father, a strict United Methodist preacher who rarely swears, was in the living room engrossed in the show. My mother was upstairs in her office, deep into her paperwork. My 4-year-old son was at the kitchen table, happily watching cartoons. Meanwhile, my husband and I stood by the fridge, scouring for a snack. While I recounted my workday to him, I suddenly heard a gruff, old man's voice whisper sharply into my ear, "Shut the f*** up!" Startled, I turned to my husband and retorted, "You shut the f*** up!" and playfully slapped his arm, but his bewildered look caught me off guard. "What the hell? I didn't say anything. You were the one talking," he protested. Frustration surged through me. Had he played a trick and now lied about it? "You told me to shut up, didn't you?" I demanded. He hesitated, then replied, "I've been silent for the past 5 minutes just listening to your story. Why would I interrupt you like that?" Determined to solve the mystery, I approached my dad. "Dad, did you tell me to shut the f*** up?" I asked. He looked shocked. "Young lady, you know I'd never use such language. Hurry up with those snacks. You're missing the show." I even asked my mom, who occasionally uses the word f*** when things go wrong, usually involving a vacuum cleaner. But she too denied it, reminding me that me and my father were supposed to be watching TV together. Lastly, I questioned my son, who simply responded, "It's not nice to tell people to shut up, Mommy." He hadn't said it either. Baffled, I returned to my husband. I tried lightening the mood, joking that he got me to swear in front of my dad, but he adamantly denied the accusation, swearing on everything precious to us. To paint a clearer picture, my parents' home is nestled deep in the countryside. The nearest neighbors are distant. It was a cold January evening, and no one was wandering outside. Their ever-alert dog would have raised an alarm if someone lurked nearby. And even my husband, standing right next to me, hadn't heard the mysterious voice. That evening continues to puzzle me. Next glitch. I'm 16 and have lived with my grandparents, my uncle, and younger siblings for as long as I can remember. My parents separated when I was just a year old. Despite the distance and their strained relationship, my father made an effort to visit me twice a month. He lived an hour and a half away and only came on weekends due to his work. In recent times, I also began visiting him. On one such visit, after spending the weekend with them, I was heading back home. I boarded my usual 6 p.m. bus, and in the midst of my fatigue, I remembered to call my grandmother to let her know I was en route. Her words, "be safe," caught me off guard, not something she usually says. I brushed it off with a "love you, see you soon," and dozed off. Upon reaching my city, I glanced at my phone, noticing a missed call from her. To save a bit of change, I didn't return the call immediately. I took a taxi and upon arriving home was met with a sight that puzzled me. My grandmother waiting, anxiety evident on her face. My siblings and their babysitter were playing outside and greeted me cheerfully. My grandmother, who always insisted I make my own coffee, had prepared a cup for me. Despite the weirdness, I couldn't help but savor it. It was the best. I began recounting my weekend, but my little brother interrupted. "We heard you at the door before you arrived." Confused, I turned to my grandmother. She explained how at precisely 6 p.m. she'd heard my voice, unmistakable with its unique depth, shouting from the doorway, asking her to let me in. But when she opened the door, I was nowhere to be found. Moments later, she received my call, telling her I was on the bus. The story grew stranger as both my siblings and their babysitter confirmed they'd heard the same. The eerie coincidence left them shaken, especially since they knew I was miles away. The recent loss of my mother in a car accident made the incident even more traumatic for my grandmother, explaining her tears and the missed call. We tried to rationalize the situation, but no explanation seemed to fit. How could my voice be in two places at once? It was like something out of a supernatural tale. In the woven tapestry of our world, there lies a strand misplaced, a thread unwinds, the glitches in disguise. A matrix vast and intricate, so perfectly conceived, yet sometimes, just sometimes, its patterns are deceived. Do they speak of realms unknown, where time and space entwine? Or mere tricks of perception, our realities combine? Staircases in forests, mother who disappear, cars that change in sunlight, whispers no one else can hear. These moments ask us questions, unsettle what we know, pushing us to ponder realms above and realms below. Perhaps they're doors to other worlds, or mere cracks in our space, reminding us the universe is vast and full of grace. So when the ordinary turns peculiar and profound, know that somewhere, in some way, another truth is found. Are they but mere anomalies or messages profound? Glitches in the matrix where mysteries abound. Anyways, that's it for today. Again, thank you for listening. You truly are the best. Share the channel with your friends if you want. See you next time.